Breaking news from around your world on this Monday, April 1st, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. At least 27 people were killed and 612 injured after a massive storm tore through southern Nepal. Sunday evening, hail and rain accompanied by strong winds battered Province 2, leaving houses in rubble and infrastructure destroyed in the wake of the storm. News outlets reported many people were killed after being buried under collapsed homes or crushed by electricity poles and trees that were uprooted during the storm. Officials said security forces had already been dispatched to the area, while helicopters with night vision capability were prepared to be deployed from the Kathmandu airbase Monday evening. 2 battalions of the Nepalese Army, the Armed Police Force, and other security agencies have also been deployed. Local officials pleaded with the central government to declare a state of emergency while asking medical institutions to offer free treatment to those injured. A comedian with no political experience took a commanding lead in the first round of Ukraine's presidential election Sunday, offering a fresh face to voters fed up with corruption in a country on the front line of the West's standoff with Russia. 41-year-old Volodymyr Zelensky sat at the top of exit polls with more than 30% of the vote, while current President Petro Poroshenko, 53, was second. With 3/4 of votes counted on Monday, Poroshenko received just under 17%, a hole that may be too deep to climb out from. He faces a public furious at his failure to stamp out corruption or improve living standards 5 years after a pro-Russian leader was swept out by a popular revolt. Zelensky and Poroshenko will face each other in a runoff in 3 weeks, as neither candidate emerged from the field of 39 entrants with more than 50% of the vote. Poroshenko ran on the slogan, Army, Language, Faith, and has attributed his support of the military for keeping separatists in check. Zelensky, who liked the teacher-turned-president he portrays on a TV sitcom, has made fighting corruption his central issue. Ukraine has suffered from economic meltdown, endemic corruption, and a spiraling conflict with Russia-backed separatists in eastern Ukraine that's killed more than 13,000 people since 2014. Its hopes for integration into the European Union and NATO remain as elusive as ever, as experts say there is no realistic way for Ukraine to reclaim control over the Crimean Peninsula that Russia annexed in 2014 in a move that most of the world sees as illegal. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's party lost control of several key cities in municipal elections on Sunday. The ruling AK party lost the capital, Ankara, for the first time since the Islamist-rooted party's 2001 founding, and appeared in danger of a similar setback in Istanbul, the country's business center and Erdogan's hometown. Erdogan was not on the ballot, but the election was widely interpreted as a statement of unhappiness with his leadership and the performance of his party and its nationalist partner as Turkey's economy has dipped into a recession. Erdogan accepted defeat in Ankara but touted victories elsewhere. He said his party would now focus on reforms to boost the economy ahead of national elections scheduled for 2023. Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle was shot and killed Sunday afternoon in South Los Angeles. The 33-year-old was hit with a burst of gunfire while standing outside of his clothing store and was pronounced dead at an area hospital. Police said 2 other people were wounded. A young man reportedly approached the rapper, born Ermias Ashkedum, and opened fire at close range, then ran to a waiting getaway car. A source told the Los Angeles Times the killer was probably associated with a gang. Hussle was born in 1985 in the same Crenshaw neighborhood where he died and where he had been working to provide youths with alternatives to the hustling he did when he was younger. Hussle was also a community organizer and spoke openly about his time in a Los Angeles gang when he was a teenager. Hussle was set to meet Monday with Los Angeles Board of Police Commissioners President Steve Soboroff to talk about ways he could help stop gang violence and help us help kids. In 2010, he placed on hip-hop magazine XXL's Freshman Class of 2010, a coveted list for up-and-coming hip-hop acts, alongside J. Cole, Big Sean, Wiz Khalifa, J-Rock, and others. He had 2 children and was engaged to actress Lauren London. One of 2 women accused in the 2017 assassination of the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un pleaded guilty to a lesser charge after Malaysian prosecutors dropped a murder charge of causing bodily harm. Duan Thay Huang was sentenced Monday to 40 months in prison, although she could be released soon after credit for time served. Kim's estranged half-brother, Kim Jong-nam, died shortly after the women allegedly smeared VX nerve agent on his face at an airport. Her co-defendant, Siti Asia, was freed 3 weeks ago after Indonesian President Joko Widodo made a personal appeal. Both women said they never meant to hurt Kim, insisting North Korean agents convinced them they were participating in a prank for a reality TV show. The White House on Sunday repeated President Donald Trump's threat to close the southern border to stem an influx of Central American migrants trying to enter the United States through Mexico. It certainly isn't a bluff, White House counselor Kellyanne Conway said on Fox News Sunday. You can take the president seriously. Conway said Congress can fix this by passing immigration reform to stop the surge of undocumented migrants. Trump said Friday there was a very good likelihood he would close the border within days if Mexico doesn't do something to address the problem. Trump said, I'll just close the border. The Trump administration also said it would cut aid to El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala for failing to curb migrant departures. The number of U.S. measles cases through the first 3 months of this year have surpassed the count for all of 2018. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reported Monday there were 387 cases through March. There were 372 last year. The numbers are preliminary and may change, but the 2019 tally is already the most since 2014, when 667 were reported. This year's numbers have been driven by outbreaks in several states, including New York, California, Illinois, Texas, and Washington. Most people who get measles have not been vaccinated. In the U.S., most outbreaks are sparked by travelers who picked up the virus in countries where measles is more common. According to the World Health Organization, nearly 83,000 people contracted measles in Europe in 2018, the highest number there in a decade. The most common symptoms include fever, runny nose, cough, and a rash all over the body. However, a very small fraction of people get much sicker and can suffer complications like pneumonia and swelling of the brain. A few can also result in death. Also, measles can cause pregnant women to deliver prematurely. The CDC said the measles vaccine is 97% effective. Honda confirmed the 16th death in the U.S. related to the rupture of faulty Takata airbag inflators. The U.S. deaths have included 14 in Honda vehicles and 2 occurring in Ford vehicles. Honda said the first new death, confirmed since 2017, occurred in a 2002 Honda Civic in Arizona in 2018. Honda said in a statement, the driver killed in this crash, who was the current owner, purchased the vehicle less than 3 months prior to the incident and said it was not made aware of the ownership change at the time of the crash. Thus, Honda was not able to send any recall notices to the new owner before the tragic event. Worldwide, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration reported at least 24 deaths and 300 injuries. NHTSA said the recall is the largest in U.S. history, involving 19 vehicle manufacturers and approximately 46 million Takata airbag inflators in an estimated 34 million vehicles in the U.S. alone. NHTSA data show long-term exposure to humidity can break down the propellant in the inflators, which can cause the propellant to burn too quickly and create too much pressure on the inflators. Automakers urged owners affected by the Takata recall to get their vehicles repaired at authorized dealers as soon as possible, especially older vehicles, which have a higher risk of an airbag inflator rupture. Japan's Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshihide Suga announced the name of the new imperial era, Reiwa. Like his predecessor, he revealed the name by holding up a framed calligraphy parchment with the characters inscribed on it. The two characters in the name mean order and harmony and replace the current era, Heisei, which means achieving peace. The new era will begin on May 1st when Crown Prince Naruhito ascends to the throne, succeeding his father, Emperor Akihito. Akihito was the first abdication in 200 years. Prior to the announcement, Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe told reporters the goal was to choose a name that would lead to a new era brimming with hope. And that's your update for this Monday, April 1st, 2019. I'm Larry Rice. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.